not be the woman who pretends that she's got to be the best at something in order to show up, or who has to be the best at something in order to keep going, who's constantly comparing and puffing up her feathers to make sure everybody knows that she's the best. That might not be you. It's probably not you. But if you're not serving in the way that you feel led to do, if you're not living in your vocation, if you're not operating in your calling, you're not doing your thing online, letting people find you, marketing yourself, talking about your offer, discussing ways you serve, sharing testimonials, having regular clients on the books, whether it's group program, one-on-one, or any other way that you choose to serve. If you're not doing that regularly, although your ego isn't to a place where you think that it's either the best or nothing, what is broken here is your perception of your own self-worth. So while we understand that that's a problem to not accept and appreciate how much we're actually worth as a human being innately just because we were born, but that you also have earned your right to be worth more in a specific area for other people in a way that you can serve them. So if you're not showing up that way, the self-worth is broken somewhere. And because you don't feel capable enough, because you're not feeling worthy enough somewhere under there, you might be going online and looking at a lot of other people's content, looking at their structure, looking at their style, and looking at their offers, and deciding that maybe you have to do it that way, maybe you have to do it that way. Oh, that's the way, that's the ticket. Maybe I should try that. But you still don't do anything about it because you gotta, it doesn't feel good enough. It doesn't give you enough confidence to see that I can do it. Because in the end, you're still comparing to other people. And the comparison factor keeps fueling your lack of self-worth. Every time you go to look at somebody else's stuff, while you might take away a good idea, a style that you like, something that you see that gives you an inspiration to do something cool, but then you don't do it because underneath what you just did by looking and comparing to see, the message you really got was, but she's doing it and I'm not. But she's already got it out there. She's got clients. People are paying her. Of course she's confident. Look what she can come up with, and I had to look for it. I had to model after her, and I said, there's no point in me doing this. Well, if I did do anything like this, I'd still have to get a lot of pieces going before this. I'd still have to have people paying me in this way, or have this group, or have this clout. We make up all these stories because the self-worth decides the narrative, no matter what kind of behavior we're using to try to convince ourselves that we can do something. It starts with your self-worth. When you don't feel like you have to compete against anyone else, when you remember that it was never the game, it was never about that. It was never about competing with anyone else. When you remember that it's only about sharing what you know and doing it well, serving with a good heart, making sure that you show up properly, doing your absolute best is all you're called to do, by the way. When you remember that, and you say, I'm not gonna look, I'm not gonna compare, I'm not gonna hunt for better ideas by checking out some influencer pages or some people in my space that are doing it well, I'm not gonna look. I'm gonna spend the time instead that I would have been looking, and who knows how long that could have been today, and I'm going to decide what I want and decide what feels really good and decide how I love to show up. How do I speak about it? How do I show up with it? How often do I show up? What's my personality when I do this? What is it in real life, and how can I translate that online? Oh, just do it, except in front of a camera. Oh, okay. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Just gotta show up in a way that I would if I was in person helping somebody, but in front of the camera. So what about what other people are doing and the way that they're doing, and the lead capture and the magnets and the funnels and the website and the landing page and the You just gotta do what feels good and show up like that. But what about the You're worthy just because you are. You have everything you need. You have everything you need. You don't have to look anymore. You don't have to check. You don't have to compare. You don't have to qualify yourself against what other people are doing in order to make sure that it's good. It's good. It's good. You have questions, you can ask somebody who knows. But you don't have to keep comparing to other people to see if your stuff is worth it. Because every time you do that, you're deciding that yours isn't enough. And every time you do that, you might be coming up against somebody who's actually changed what they just had on there last week. Now you have a new target. Now you find another influencer. Now you find somebody else that impresses you. Now you have a new target. This thing is ever changing and ever shifting, and you will never make a move because you're constantly going in circles. ignore it. Quiet the noise, put blinders on, put sound canceling headphones on, do what feels really good to you, do it your way, in a way that you just would. Say it however you want to say it. Say whatever you want to say, in a way that serves people. You know how to do that. Nobody has to teach you that. Nobody has to teach you that. You're worth it because you are, period. And you're extremely talented, and you're extremely compelling because of who you are. So go do that.